Brock on the keeper. Loss of a couple on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 11 for San Diego Cavers. Folks, once again, you're listening live on PlayOnSports.com from legendary Balboa Stadium in San Diego, California. We apologize for the technical difficulties we've had early in this game. We're at the 6:05 mark of the first quarter. St. Augustine, the number 7 ranked team, 7-0 lead, thanks to a 3-yard touchdown run by Tristan Juarez. Right now, the Cavers with the ball at their own 22-yard line. 3rd and a long 10. Split back formation, and back to throw is Brock, and they see that screen play off to the right, and no good as Brock couldn't connect with Trevon Taylor. Throwing that ball low into the ground. Taylor not able to dive and pick it up. And that'll bring up a 4th down, and once again the punting unit for San Diego back on the field. San Diego coming into this game with a 3-3 record. They had a harsh early part of the season. 4 consecutive road games where they went 2-2, and last week playing a top-ranked Grossmont team where they lost 42-14. Bad snap. They're trying to run it out. Now the punter is going to looking for room, and now in trouble, and he's going to be dropped at the 10-yard line. And San Diego, snake bitten so far. Trevon Taylor back to punt. Got a really poor snap. Had to rush to his right just to pick it up. Tried to elude the rush of St. Augustine, but couldn't do so, and was dropped at the 12-yard line. And St. Augustine in business again, deep in San Diego territory, with the ball placed at the Cavers' 12-yard line. 5:37 left to go in the first quarter. St. Augustine up 7-0 and looking to add on. 1st and 10 at the Cavers' 12-yard line after a botched punt attempt by San Diego. And now JoJo Hudson looking to lead his team back into the end zone again. Hudson calling signals from the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's going to audible off. Heavy wing formation to the right. They're going to go left with Juarez, and Juarez is dragged down for maybe a yard gain. Juarez with a 3-yard touchdown pass, rather a 3-yard touchdown plunge earlier this quarter to give St. Augustine a 7-0 lead. 5:13 and counting here in the first quarter. 7-0 Saints. I formation now. Tight ends heavy to the right. One receiver set also to the right. Movement across the line of scrimmage, and it looks like San Diego is going to get called for infracting the neutral zone. The big man, Kelly Pomele, 6'2", 310 defensive end. When he gets some momentum going, there's no stopping him. It looks like he had crossed the neutral zone, and that's going to be half the distance to the goal line. So 2nd and 5, St. Augustine can still get a 1st down at about the 3-yard line as Hudson sends his troops back up to the line of scrimmage. 2 tight ends set. The freshman dotting the I formation. 1 receiver set to the right side. They go heavy, and they're going to sweep toss, and that's going to be a fake. And this time Hudson was trying to do the dipsy-do, and this time the San Diego Cavers all over it as Hudson faked the sweep to the right and then tried to boot left, but he ran into 3 big blue jerseys. And he will lose about 8 yards on the play and putting the ball back to the 14-yard line. So the Saints facing a 3rd and 11 from the 14 of the Cavers. 4:08 left to go in this first quarter. St. Augustine with a 7-0 lead with an outstanding opportunity now to add on. As Hudson sends 2 receivers to the near side, 1 far side. That's Chapman to the top. Back to throw, heavy rush, picked up the blitz well. Hudson looking downfield, throws to his right, has a man, and nearly intercepted. And broken up on the play by defensive back Zion Filani. Filani just strode stride for stride with the receiver, broke up the pass, and that'll bring up a 4th down. The San Diego Caver defense coming through big in the red zone after a botched punt attempt gave St. Augustine outstanding field position at the 12. And now St. Augustine will attempt a field goal of 30 yards. That's Nick Sinclair 5'8" junior. There's a snap. And before we can get this play off, flags all over the field, and we have a legal procedure called against the Saints. That'll march it back another 5 yards, make this kick a little bit tougher for Sinclair. They'll place the ball at about the left hash mark. Sinclair, a right footer, will now try it from 35 yards. 3:41 left to go in this first quarter. High snap, but able to bring it down. The kick is long enough, a lot of distance. Has it got the accuracy? It does. And Sinclair drills a 35-yard field goal to give St. Augustine a 10-0 lead with 3:37 left to go in this first quarter. And folks, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? So tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. And playonsports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here. TC Wardell for PlayOnSports.com from Balboa Stadium in downtown San Diego on a partly cloudy but slowly clearing night. Here about 65 degrees and a little cool for us San Diegans, but a beautiful night for football as Sinclair drills the kick into the end zone, and San Diego will take over on their own 20-yard line with their offense, trying to get something going here as they trail St. Augustine 10-0. 3:37 left to go in the first quarter. TC Wardell with my partner Eddie Alcaraz, who's probably battling the San Diego traffic right about now. He'll be joining us in just a few moments. Brian Hogaboom's our producer today, and of course the great Ken Hull working the video for you. As San Diego comes up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10, split backs, 2 receivers to the near side. Brock on the play action, and he's going to try to keep it himself, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. And I'm not sure that was designed play or a read play, as Brock faked the counter inside, decided to try to get to the right end, couldn't get to the edge, and brought down. No gain on the play. And that'll make it 2nd down and 10 for the Cavers. San Diego High School, probably the oldest high school in the entire San Diego Unified School District, established in 1882. With a pretty tremendous academic background. We'll get back to that in just a moment as we have 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Split backfield once again. This time the first back through has got nowhere to go and is dumped back at the 15-yard line as St. Augustine just closed the door on that play. They're going to give him only a 2-3-yard loss, call it 3rd and 13. .233 left to go in the first quarter. St. Augustine, the 7th-ranked team in the San Diego section, with a 10-0 lead early on. As Tommy Brock back to throw for San Diego. He's going deep down the middle of the field and overthrows everybody. Falling incomplete, and once again, San Diego goes 3 and out and will have to be forced to punt it away. And joining us now is Eddie Alcaraz, who is battling the San Diego traffic. Or maybe you just got up out of bed.
Here I am, ready to go.
You're fired up.
I'm ready to go.
So we'll get Eddie up to speed on what's been going on here. 10-0, St. Augustine with the lead, and have forced the Cavers in punt formation again. As back to punt is Trevon Taylor, and San Diego having all kinds of trouble on special teams so far this evening. They got to call a timeout. They did not have enough men on the field for their punt team. And they got to burn a timeout at the 2:18 mark of the first quarter. St. Augustine early, 10-0 over San Diego.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So San Diego, the Cavers having some difficulty on special teams so far tonight. They muffed one punt early. And now we'll have to boot it away again. Taylor standing in his own 2-yard line, ready to kick it away. Looking to get a better snap this time, and he does. A heavy rush and just does get it away. A knuckleball that goes out of bounds on the St. Augustine sideline. Let's see where the officials are going to mark this one. And they're going to place it at the 38-yard line of the Cavers. And once again, St. Augustine's going to get outstanding field position into Caver territory.
And then right there, just off the side of the foot, you just hope that you're going to get positive yardage out of that, and the punter was able to do that. But it's going to give the St. Augustine Saints great field position right outside of the 35-yard line of the Cavers.
So JoJo Hudson back under center for St. Augustine. He was injured last week, but back on the field tonight. Juarez in the backfield, single setback, back to throw, 3-step drop. Hudson fires and has a man and gets him on the slant pattern at about the 27-yard line. Wide receiver Ryan Harris.
And right there, Hudson to Harris. He had the option of a couple of guys that looked to be open.
He had plenty of time to throw, even from a 3-step drop. Good protection from that line. And a pickup of almost 10, just shy of the first down. Call it a 9-yard pickup. As Hudson sets back under center again, sends 3 receivers this time to the top of the screen. Tight end left. That's Juarez, the single setback. And now Hudson's looking around and calling off the play. Run for the audible, 1:29 left to go in the first quarter. And they're going to give us one to Juarez right up the middle. Juarez finds a hole and he runs outside, gets a good block, and he is gone. And Juarez with a 27-yard touchdown run, his second so far of the game. And St. Augustine starting to feel it with a 16-0 lead.
And there, Juarez right up the middle, untouched. Everybody doing what they needed to do on the offense, from the lineman to the receiver, just stretching out that defense. And he was able to he sprinted, but he could have walked if he wanted to. As here, pinning the extra point, it's going to put his team up by 3 scores.
Sinclair's extra point attempt is perfect. And St. Augustine been playing on the Cavers side of the field this entire first quarter. Now with a 17-0 lead over San Diego High with 1:20 left to go in the first.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter, and you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week for your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
TC Wardell alongside Eddie Alcaraz from legendary Balboa Stadium in downtown San Diego, California. And we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com. St. Augustine, the number 7 ranked team in the San Diego section, showing us why with a quick 17-0, well, they're showing 16, but 17-0 lead over the host San Diego Cavers. I'll tell you, I used to run on this track when I was working downtown quite a bit. It's still in outstanding condition. This is the field where the San Diego Chargers used to play back in the 60s. And Sinclair's kick, driving into the end zone. Know where you're going to go with that one. That's going to sit and stay. And Cavers once again will start off at their own 20-yard line.
And I tell you right there, the kick returner, hoping that no one was watching, was going to try to bring that out. But once that crosses the goal line, it's an automatic come out to the 20. As the Cavers are going to start on offense again here.
Well, San Diego has struggled on offense pretty much most of the season, averaging less than 200 yards a game in total offense. They have lost a number of players last week in an injury-marred game against Grossmont. And are kind of thin in some of the skill positions tonight. Tommy Brock, though, the quarterback, he's the senior signal caller, sets under center. Receiver motion, they're going to flip toss this to the right. Rather to the left, trying to get around the edge, and a nice play by St. Augustine secondary to force Emmanuel Partida.
And Partida there was the 4-man front of the Saints defense, able to penetrate. They had pursuit. They kind of cut off the lane, the running lane for him there. Kind of forced him out after a near 4-yard gain, or close to it. But Partida's picking up positive yards, and for the Cavers right now, they just little by little, looking to do anything and everything they can to get back in this ballgame as they're down by 17.
Partita, the team's leading rusher with 166 yards, gets the call again off the right side, trying to get through, sneaks by one man, and now he's at the 40-yard line, and it's a race to the finish. And are they going to get him? Are they going to get him? And dragged down from behind, and that's going to be a horse collar. Partita tried to get away, but down at the 15-yard line was horse collared down by St. Augustine. I don't know how he got out of that mess at the line of scrimmage. Somehow he snuck through, surprised all 11 defensive players, and nearly outran the secondary to the end zone. So Emmanuel Partita giving this San Diego Capers crowd something to cheer about.
And that there on the horse collar was number 88, Robert McCord, senior defensive end. And you got to give any defensive end credit when they're able to run down a running back for nearly 50 yards before they get into the end zone. So not only a great run, they're going to go ahead and tack on the penalty as well. And that's going to leave the Capers in good position here to get on the board as they're going to start inside the 10-yard line here.
It'll be first and goal from the 7-yard line of St. Augustine. Unbelievable run by Partita. That is a highlight film. As Brock sends two receivers to the far side, and they run the toss over to, I believe that's going to be, I'm going to try to look for men here as I look at Juwan Stewart. Stewart on the sweep, not going to get much there. In fact, they're going to lose about 3 yards on the play. Fly sweep, they call that. Somehow that just didn't get out of my head.
Well, I tell you what, folks, TC's a wealth of knowledge.
Right now, that knowledge is more like bankrupt. So ball placed on the left hash mark. Second and goal from the 12-yard line. Brock's going to hand it off to Partita again. Partita just looking for space. Somehow he just squeaks through cracks and crevices and gets all the way to the 3-yard line.
And I don't know if it's just Partita's jersey maybe a little bit too tight. He just seemed to be being able to bounce off that first defender, just kind of deflecting off of him as he did with that run previously, the long run that got him in this position.
So the 5'8", 155 running back for the Capers, giving the Big Blue a little excitement at the end of quarter number 1. And St. Augustine, after one, with a 17-0 lead over San Diego.
Today's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also see CPC on the St. Augustine team web page on playonsports.com and click on the CPC icon. Online print buying has never been this easy.
So San Diego High having a rough time in the first quarter, but Emmanuel Partita, their 5'8", 155 running back, giving him a little bit of inspiration here on two big runs. And the Capers now trailing, they're still looking at 16-0 on the scoreboard. I thought it was 17. I'm not sure what the scoring is. We'll give them what the scoreboard says. 16-0, St. Augustine lead after one quarter. But right now the Capers are threatening with the ball at the 3-yard line of St. Augustine. Brock under center, movement all over the line. And we're going to have St. Augustine offsides. And that's about a half distance to the goal line. Give them an extra yard and a half.
That's going to bring the Capers a little bit closer. Let's see if they're able to punch it in via the help of the penalty there. It moves them just a little bit closer. Let's see if they can punch it in with Mr. Partita.
Just underway here in the second quarter. Partita breaking tackles left and right, but not able to get across the goal line. He was close before St. Augustine's defense can bend him backwards. Let's see where they mark the ball. It looks like it might be at the half-yard line. Partita running hard. Boy, he is bouncing off people. I mean, he just refuses to go down.
And that's the kind of offensive output that they're going to need if they're going to look to get back into this ball game. And it looks like the near side judge has them just short or just shy of the goal line. And we hear the knocking. It's pretty loud.
Well, here you go. 4th and goal. San Diego with the ball at the 1. needing to plug it in right here. I formation. Going to go with the power back, and I don't think he got in. Stacked at the line of scrimmage. I think he's well short.
Well, both sides were stacked on the line of scrimmage there. The Saints just able to hold up their end, hold up the wall, that defensive wall they were able to hold up as the lead block, the fullback there, was stood up. And Partita had nowhere to go as it became kind of a rugby circle there when the referees finally blew the whistle. And the Saints get the ball inside. Well, where would you put that?
I don't know about the foot line. I'm not sure where they're going to get it, but the St. Augustine defense holding tight at the goal line. And San Diego losing a huge opportunity right there. And we have a San Diego Caver who is coming off the field limping right now, getting some assistance from his teammates.
And the fact that it's still only the second quarter, there's still nearly 3 quarters left to go.
Right.
You know, if you're on the sideline for the Cavers, you're saying, okay, we still got plenty of time to get back into this ball game. But an opportunity like that, you got to be able to punch it in.
Nico Hammond, who was injured last week with a hamstring pull, coming off the field now with the assistance of teammates and a coach. And wouldn't be surprised if he re-aggravated that injury from last week.
And those are the kind of injuries that during the course of the season, they never really heal. You've got to kind of babysit them a little bit and definitely be aware that they're there.
Especially a hamstring. It takes weeks for those to truly heal. But St. Augustine with the ball, first and 10 at their own 1. And Hudson will just burrow forward with the snap on the quarterback keeper just to get some room and some air for the St. Augustine offense. He'll pick about 3 yards to the 4-yard line. 11:16 left to go in the second quarter. And St. Augustine with a 16-0 lead over San Diego.
And one of the things that Saints brings is they always travel well. As we look across here at the other side of Balboa Stadium, and there's a long line of people still looking to get in. They travel well. They bring a lot of crowd here. But that's not to say that the Cavers aren't making a lot of noise right here under us. And for a 17-0 ball game, the Cavers crowd has not let up, and neither has the team on the field. But they've got to do something to get back into this game.
2nd and 7. The second back threw off the right guard, and not a whole lot of airspace there. Not sure if that was Preston or Juarez with the carry. I'm trying to see. It was Juarez with the carry. He's got 2 touchdowns tonight. He'll pick up maybe a yard on the play up to the 6-yard line. So St. Augustine now buried backwards. 3rd and 5 from their own 6-yard line. 10:24 left to go in the second quarter, and the Saints holding a 16-0 lead. We're getting some serious speaker use in this press box.
Oh, the sound effects are aplenty so far here.
A little sense around going on 3rd and 6. Hudson under center. 2 tight end set. Single setback. Hudson's going to roll to the right. Looking to throw downfield. Has a man at the 16. Got him. And across the 25-yard line. Big tight end, Patrick Dixon. His 14th reception of the season.
One of the captains of this Saints offense, I should say, when he's playing offense, but just a captain overall for this team. He was wide open.
Right.
There, it just looked like maybe coverage broke down, somebody missing their assignment, as the big bumbling tight end not only gives his team some breathing room, but definitely puts them in a good spot. As they just crept over the 25-yard, their own 25-yard line here, as they pick up a fresh set of downs.
1st and 10 from their own 27. Hudson sends 2 receivers wide to the top of the screen. They're going to give this one to the freshman. The freshman looking for some room. Breaks 3 tackles. Look at him get to the outside to the right and cuts back in. That's a freshman running, and he's looking to outrun the one-man left. 30, 25, and finally brought down at the 18-yard line.
Number 20, Elijah Preston there. Just kind of play was set up to stay inside. He bounced it out when he saw that there was nothing there, and the freshman, good field presence there. Able to take it outside, get his team set up inside the 20 of the Cavers.
5'5", Elijah Preston. He is a freshman for St. Augustine. He pressed into service last week due to injuries. Looks like he is picking up where he left off. On a big run down to the 18-yard line of San Diego.
And I tell you, that run was for him probably determination. For me, it would have been survival because there's no way I would have wanted to be tackled at 5'5".
And they give it to Preston again off the left end. And Preston gets by 2 men. Free again and walks into the end zone somehow, but flags down on the field. Preston must have broke 3 tackles off the left end as Cavers just slipped all over him. and jaunted into the end zone. We're waiting for a call, though, and it's holding against St. Augustine, and Preston's touchdown will be called back. What an outstanding run by this young man.
Aside from the fact that there was a hold on that call, I think had there not been a hold, it looked pretty good that he was going to pick up a good chunk of yardage, or if not, get in the end zone regardless. 2 plays, though. This kid has impressed me. Elijah Preston. Hopefully we're going to call his name a lot here this evening.
Well, last week, 12 carries, 124 yards in their upset victory against Eastlake on the road. And the Saints, which was kind of expected to be a bit of a rebuilding year for this St. Augustine team, they're ranked in the top 10 with a 4-1 record in their last non-league contest of the season before they open league next week. The ball placed back to the 29-yard line, 1st and 20, but whistles on the field. It looks like we're going to have a timeout called by St. Augustine. 8:49 left to go until halftime. St. Augustine in control, 16-0.
PlayOnSports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school football playoff and various sport playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
On an absolutely beautiful night, I'm sorry, Eddie, night here in San Diego, California. T.C. Wardell alongside Eddie Alcaraz from Balboa Stadium, the former San Diego Chargers home back in the 60s. Still looking pretty good, and still looking, look at the stand, still got some of the old look to this particular stadium. There's a lot of history at this particular location in downtown San Diego.
And I tell you, I mean, getting back to the fact that the Chargers had played here, many of the greats, many of those Chargers teams from the 60s, just to name Lance Allworth off the top of the bat, one of the great players, and they were the ones that had the powder blue uniforms that the team wears now.
Probably the best looking uniforms in the entire NFL arsenal.
And the only thing you can kind of say is you're kind of sad that management didn't bring them back a lot sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. But Saints are feeling good about their purple and white jerseys and uniforms as they have a 16-0 lead and a 1st and 20 at the 29-yard line of San Diego. Quick motion across the formation and end around. It almost picked up in the backfield, was able to elude one tackle, but was lucky to get close to back to the line of scrimmage. San Diego sniffed that one out well as Dominic Morgan was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. That could have been for a lot worse.
And waiting for him on the reverse there was Juan Stewart. We called his name a little bit earlier. He just kind of stayed home, played center field, saw the running back coming his way. But I will tell you, if he's able to elude Stewart, you were looking at a good gain at possibly picking up that first down. And right now they're holding it second, and it seems like from Chula Vista.
Yeah, second
trying to
South
get
Bay.
back. They're trying to get back and pick up a first down.
So let's see what the Saints can do here. 2 tight ends set, 2 receivers set to the near side, 1 set to the top of the screen. They go heavy left on the line of scrimmage. Hudson back to throw. 5-step drop. He got pressure. Going to throw it down the right side. Looking for his man. Caught. It was. Unbelievable grab. Touchdown, Saints. And with the lighting, I can't see the number.
That was Mr. Tristan Juarez.
The 3rd touchdown of the evening for Tristan Juarez. 2 running, and that's his first passing touchdown. Well covered on the play, I have to admit. And he made a tremendous catch at the goal line to fight the defender for the ball.
And he was just able to just kind of spin around Roy Richardson, a defensive back for the Cavers. But like you said, tight coverage, but just not in a position.
San Diego jumping off sides again. A little over anxious on special teams.
Well, I think at this point, down by 4 scores now. You got to try to stop the bleeding any way you can. But you're not going to do it by increasing the yardage of where they're going to be able to throw this extra point in. But getting back to Mr. Juarez, number 7, a senior for St. Augustine, as the extra point is up and good. He's got 1 by air, 2 by ground. I don't know if he's going to be able to get him by sea.
I was waiting for that.
I was holding that one for a special occasion, and this young man allowed me to open up and let that one out.
You know it's bad when Eddie Alcaraz starts going to the Paul Revere references.
I tell you, these are high school games. It's nothing wrong with throwing a little history lesson in there for the listeners as well as for the crowd here.
Well, St. Augustine is starting to make San Diego High look like history with a 24-0 lead over the Cavers with 7:53 left to go in this first half. So far, the Cavers offense has just been completely stymied. Understandable, they're a little short on players and due to some injuries, but they've got probably the biggest line in San Diego section, averaging 280 pounds. They got 5 guys that tip over 300 pounds and 2 others that are like a cheeseburger away from hitting 3 bills.
And one of the things there that you've got to look for is continuity. If the 5 are able to get that same push, that same movement forward, they're going to be a team that, even though they're 3-3 now, and now they're looking that they might end tonight 3-4, even though we still got a lot of football left to play. You just got to hope that they click before this ball game is over.
As Sinclair boots this kickoff away, he has got a heck of a leg. Picked up at the 2-yard line. And now that's Stewart looking for a lane, and he didn't find one, and he is dropped at the 19-yard line and met rudely by the coverage team of St. Augustine.
And I tell you there, he found a lane, but it was closed.
Door closed quickly on him, and now the Cavers really with issues on offense as quarterback Travis Brock jogs into the huddle, trailing 24-0 to the St. Augustine team.
And I think if you're the Cavers, one of the things you still got to maintain on offense is we've got to find a rhythm. We've got to hit our receivers, even if they're on high percentage throws. Maybe we're not necessarily going to be able to put up the long ball just yet or break away those runs, although we have seen one here so far in this ball game. But I think right now is what it is, baby step, and getting some kind of offensive rhythm.
Well, Partita's in the backfield, split backs, 2 receivers to the top of the screen. Partita gets the call off the left side, and I think that St. Augustine's had enough of looking at him, drop him at the 15-yard line for a, oh, well, they're going to give that a generous spot at the 18.
They gave a generous spot on the kickoff as well. I don't think he made it out to the 20, but.
So they're only going to give him a 2-3-yard loss as opposed to a 5-yard loss. Back to the 18-yard line. San Diego will have its 2nd and 12.
Maybe it's the roll-down effect of the officials coming back to the NFL, what was left, and kind of thrown back at the other levels.
Oh, let us.
Maybe they're showing up here.
That's not the case. then anything can happen here tonight. 2nd and 12 for San Diego. They're going to go with a bunch set to the short side of the field, to the right. Single setbacks Partita, back to throw Brock. Brock looking up, he's in trouble. He's got to run out of it, gets to the 20, and gets a nice block to the 25, and now he makes a nice move to the 30, keeps running to the outside. He better get out of bounds to the 40 does, and there are flags all over the field. The only one who hasn't thrown one is Eddie Alcaraz.
I threw one, but it was batted down by one of our cameramen here. It was tough. I'm going to have a tough night in trying to complete something, but there it looks like downfield. They may have looked to try to set up a block.
Every official west of the Pacific threw a yellow handkerchief on that play at the end. And Brock and Stewart having a bit of a conversation on the 35-yard line. I don't think they're exchanging pleasantries there, because I think they're illegal, more than likely, illegal block downfield on Brock's outstanding run. But it's all going to be for naught and called back.
And there, Brock just showing just the level of athleticism that he has. He was flushed out of the pocket, came to the near side, saw there was nothing going to happen there, cut back to the far side of the field, and picked up a Cavers first down.
Oh, there you go. They're going to give that ball put the ball at the 30, so the infraction will be at the point it was incurred. So Brock's run will yield some yardage up to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cavers.
Well, there you go. From our angle, it looked like it was a little bit farther downfield.
Well, I think from the end of the play, near the 40, was when the infraction occurred. They're going to call a 10-yard penalty back to the 30. It was a holding call, not exactly sure where, but the officials certainly saw it. But it all yields out for the best for San Diego as they have a 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. 6:52 left to go until halftime. Second back through, and Partita almost coughed that football up off the handoff, and it may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
He was hitting the backfield there and just kind of spun around as he fell forward right back to the line of scrimmage. And it seems that one of the things the Saints are pretty much saying is you're not going to be able to run on us. We're going to force you to pass.
And this is not a passing football team. The average, they being the San Diego Cavers, 71 yards a game throwing the rock. So passing is not their forte. But evidently with a 24-point deficit, it's something they're going to have to put the ball in the air, and they do it right now. Brock 3 steps back. He's just going to launch this one down the right side. It's a jump ball and incomplete as Stewart went up with the defender. And a good play as the ball flew out of bounds, falling incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
And there the defensive back held his own, Dominic Morgan, as there was a good clean battle, both going up for the ball, neither one coming down with it.
San Diego High, the players wearing pink socks tonight in reference to their support for the breast cancer research. And it's 3rd and 10. Brock under center, sends 2 receivers to either side. 5-step drop, going to throw this one to the out, and nobody there as Stewart went inside and Brock threw the ball outside. Miscommunication between quarterback and receiver, and once again, for the 4th time tonight, San Diego punter back on the field.
And there Brock just, I won't even say just slightly overthrew that, but that ball almost made its way all the way up here in the press box. And that's one of the things when you don't pass often, you're not going to have that rhythm with your receivers. They're not going to know their points and on hitting their points, I should say, in their routes. And there it was evident that the quarterback was just a little bit off as well. The Cavers are going to punt here and give the ball back to the Saints.
Taylor at the 15-yard line, kicking away, heavy pressure, gets a knuckleballer off, takes a heck of a bounce down to the 33-yard line. Saints are going to run this Matt Morgan to the 40. Morgan with a nice move, can't get outside, but a good return to the 45-yard line of Saints, where St. Augustine will take over 1st and 10 with 5:48 left to go until the break. It is all St. Augustine, 24-0.
So it's just a refresh as we go. As I was held up here in the first quarter. It seems that St. Augustine grabbed the momentum and hasn't let any of it back to the Cavers.
And the Cavers have kind of been their own worst enemy, offensively and on special teams here tonight. As St. Augustine, 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. That's the senior Hudson under center. 2 receivers near side, 1 at the top of the screen. And they're going to give this one up right up the middle. Rush close to midfield, but flags on the field, and I believe that was Juarez on the carry, and it was. He's been a busy man tonight. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown.
And based on the geography of that flag, it's almost always going to be holding. And there you have it. Yep.
So the Saints will march backwards another 10 yards with 5:43 left to go in this second quarter.
Oh, when the Saints go marching backwards.
No, don't start. No, really. No, really don't.
you knocked on that door, TC. I just opened it. All right.
I need to get a lock and close it. So the Saints will face a 1st and 20 from their own 35-yard line. 7th-ranked team in the San Diego section, having a tremendous season, 4-1 on the year, having just upset Eastlake on the road last week with a number of underclassmen filling in for injured starters. And speaking of which, you're going to give it to that freshman right up the middle, and there goes Elijah Preston near midfield. Preston, the freshman who rushed for over 124 yards last week in his first start, gets 20 of it back there. And make it a 2nd down and 6, and much more manageable down now for St. Augustine.
And there on the stop, Juan Stewart, who goes as a running back on offense and a safety on defense. He was the last line of defense there. Because if he doesn't make that tackle, Mr. Preston is just now wrapping up his touchdown celebration.
2nd and 6 from the 49-yard line. Hudson on the play action, rolls to his left, looks down, got his man, missed the tackle, breaks one, almost breaks another one, across the 40-yard line to the 38. Great job by Tim Chapman, wide receiver, who did a good job of breaking 2 tackles, getting into Caver territory, and a 1st down for St. Augustine.
I tell you, on that spin, it made me a little dizzy here. As I'm able to just I just need to step back a second. But what a move! As he catches the ball. He still didn't have enough. Well, I guess he did have enough there for the 1st down, but just a great move in the open field to pick up just a few more yards there for his offense.
So 1st and 10 for the Saints into Caver's territory at the 38-yard line. They go with a tight end to the left, 2 receivers, top of the screen. Solo receiver right. Back to throw Hudson, looking for that screen. They got it once again. That's Chapman. Chapman eludes one man, goes back to the middle of the field. And across the 30 to the 28-yard line, Tim Chapman. It looks like he's got enough for another Saints 1st down, and this Saints offense really starting to steamroll now.
It looks like it's going to be mighty close there. Depends on where they've been given generous spots here so far in this ball game.
They've been too kind on this one. Looks like they're going to have an official's timeout and measure at the 3:36 mark of the second quarter. And everyone here will take a bit of a break. So will we. 24-0 St. Augustine over San Diego High here on PlayOnSports.com, your home and destination for high school sports.
You want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to PlayOnSports.com/SBP.
TC Wardell, Eddie Alcaraz from Balboa Stadium in downtown San Diego. We're glad you joined us here this evening as the 7th-ranked St. Augustine Saints hold a 24-0 lead over the host San Diego Cavers in Week 7 of San Diego section football action. And so far, Eddie, it has been the Golden Domers the entire way.
They're playing with a determination that, you know what, 24 points aren't enough. We're going to get this ball, and we're going to play keep away from the Cavers. And so far, they've done a great job of it here in the first half.
2nd and inches from the 28-yard line of the Cavers for St. Augustine. Hudson calling signals from the line of scrimmage, and we've got movement again from the San Diego defensive line crossing into the neutral zone. That's the big nose guard. When I say big, I'm not lying. That's Nicholas Arnold. They got him listed 6'3", 320. So when he moves, there's not a whole lot that's going to stop him.
So it leads me to wonder if that was the sound effects of that big boom up here, or if that was that kid getting up off the bench ready to come into the ball game.
That's a Richter scale gauge right there. San Diego with a huge offensive and defensive line, but just really having their issues here tonight. That gives Saints a first down at the 24-yard line of San Diego. Back to throw once again is Hudson. Hudson under pressure, in trouble, and dropped at the 32. When those guys from San Diego fall on top of you, but one of which, Kelly Pomelet at 6'2", 310, yeah, you're going to feel it tomorrow morning.
That you definitely will. And there we're just going to go ahead and pretty much say that was a coverage sack. Smart of Hudson. He didn't see anything downfield that he was comfortable in making a throw to. And there just kept the ball. And as you said, the Cavers are able to get through, get their big paws on you. It's going to be a hurtful drop on the way down.
You need a little bit of medication after that. 2nd and 15 from the 30-yard line. 2:24 left to go until halftime. Saints with a 24-0 lead, looking to add on to that. And back to throw this time again. Good pickup on the blitz. And this time Hudson's going to run it to the 25-yard line, close to the 20 on the quarterback keeper. He'll get most of that penalty yardage, sack yardage back, rather. And it'll be 2nd down and 8 from close to the 20-yard line. He almost was drilled in the backfield, but a good pickup on the blitz by his running back.
And that running back that you mentioned is Francois Sims II. He's a freshman, 5'11".
Francois.
5'11", and he goes right around 210. And he, like you said, was able to pick up that blitz and linebacker, allowing Hudson to kind of free up there and pick up a chunk of yardage and trying to pick up this first down for the Saints.
Francois, very good. Outstanding job to help his quarterback out, keep him safe and alive. 3rd and a long 7 from the 21-yard line. Saints trying to press into the end zone once again. Back to throw. In the pocket, has time. Now flush back to his left. He's got plenty of green grass to run and get a block down to the 10-yard line. And Hudson sneaks in across the 10 to the 9-yard line for a first down, but a flag on the play.
At the 21-yard line, we got a flag there.
Take a guess what this one is. Oh, yeah, holding it is against St. Augustine.
Oh, I was way off. I was going to say roughing the kicker, but what do I know?
So the Saints have had a few good plays called back due to penalties. Kind of shooting themselves in the foot on this particular drive. 1:20 left to go until a break.
Well, and one of the things where the Saints are getting their yardage pulled back by these penalties is probably still more than the yardage that the Cavers are getting positive on the offensive side of the ball. Down 24-0. I hope the offensive coordinator and the head coach are working to put something, new wrinkles into this game plan for them, because the Saints are knocking once again on the Cavers side of the field. 3
receivers to the top of the screen as Hudson calls off an audible. 3rd and 15 for St. Augustine. Hudson back under center. Movement in the backfield. Knows the call as Hudson is just swarmed in the pocket and dropped as Preston moved just a little early before the snap. And they're going to call off the illegal procedure and take the sack. And that'll bring a 4th down, and a good job by the San Diego front 4 to put some heavy pressure on the Saints backfield.
And had that play stood, the sack stood, Felipe Incencio and Kelly Paumele, 570 pounds combined, landed on you there.
That's the weight of the car I drove here tonight. So San Diego defense holding tight, forcing a 4th down, and it looks like the Saints are going to go for it on 4th and 20 from the 32-yard line of San Diego. And now we may have a timeout on the field to talk this one over, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Saints call a timeout with 35 seconds left to go until the half. It's all St. Augustine, 24-0 over San Diego High.
Today's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-485-4039 or visit them on the web at cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also see CPC on the St. Augustine team page on playonsports.com and click on the CPC icon. Online print buying has never been this easy.
Well, the San Diego Cavers are having a difficult evening so far in the first half of this game, showing some defensive might all of a sudden on this drive as St. Augustine now facing a 4th and 20 at the Caver 32-yard line. And it appears, well, it did appear before the timeout that they were going to go for it on 4th down. And we're looking to see if Hudson, the quarterback, comes out. And he does. And it looks like, from all appearances, the Saints are going to go for it on 4th and 20. With a 24-0 lead, I guess it's not a whole lot to lose.
I wonder how many 4th and 19 plays they run in practice.
I'm sure they spent half the day working on that. 2 receivers top side. We're looking for a 7-step drop from Hudson. He's looking right down the middle of the field. Has a man. It's a strike. Touchdown. Morgan, just like that. Boy, they dialed it up on that timeout perfectly. And Morgan got free right down the middle of the seam on the field. And Hudson drilled him at the 5, and Morgan just cruised in the rest of the way. And St. Augustine with a 30-0 lead with 28 ticks left to go until halftime.
And in order to, in taking the timeout, you've got to think that the Saints saw something. They saw something in the what the Cavers were looking to do on that 4th down play. There, as the extra point is made, making it a 31-0 ball game. But you got to assume that they saw something there. Maybe they saw just a little crack, and they definitely found it there. On 4th and 19, you're not supposed to come up with a touchdown pass that's going to cover close to 30 yards. But for the Saints, it happened. And as we talked about, how many 4th and 19 plays did they practice? Maybe the Cavers need to work on that next week. Let's bring in our 4th and 19 defensive package that we got to work on.
Well, defensive coordinator for San Diego cannot be thrilled allowing a 4th and 20 to be converted, not only the 20 yards, but to be converted for a touchdown. And that was a lapse in defensive play by this Cavers defense. And now they're going to be walking into the halftime in about 28 seconds with a 31-0 deficit. And really nothing much going on offensively for the San Diego football team.
And here it doesn't get any easier for the Cavers if for some reason Saints was to say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and pull Hudson out, because they've got a sophomore quarterback, Tommy Goodrich, that orchestrated that upset last week against Eastlake. And if he's got to come in for mop-up duty.
That's not mop-up duty.
Not at all.
That's just one diva for the next. I mean, there's just no saying what depth does for the St. Augustine team. A lot of great athletes. And a knuckleball kick that goes right down between the legs and into the end zone. And, oh, wow, it went out of bounds at about the 1-yard line.
Now that's a lucky break that
was.
That
was. That went through the wickets of the kick returner for San Diego, Roy Richardson. Touched him on the leg, and it started rolling slowly into the end zone, but it happened to just take a quick bounce out of bounds. And so San Diego catches a break and will get the ball at their own 35-yard line with 28 seconds left to go until a break.
And just a little football 101, if that would have been a punt, they're looking at pretty much close to 100 yards that they've got to go down in 28 seconds. Here, because it was a kickoff, you have to be able to touch the ball. The receiving team has to touch the ball. And it looked like it kind of bounced off of him, but the side judge there seemed to differ with my opinion, and they're going to go ahead and let them come out to the 35, which is the penalty if you don't allow the receiver to touch the ball.
So 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Tommy Brock, the senior, under center. Long drops, going to throw the screen pass over to the left to Partita. Partita trying to get to the edge and barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage before he's brought down inbounds as the clock continues to run.
And the Saints pretty much have everybody back a good distance to make sure that there's nothing that gets behind them. They're going to try to keep the action in front of them with the clock running here with 6:54. It looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap up this first half, TC.
And they're going to need to go to the locker room, talk about what they need to do offensively, whatever adjustments to make. Because San Diego really struggling on the offensive side of the ball as we have hit the half here from Balboa Stadium in San Diego, California. St. Augustine, the number 7 team in the land, with a 31-0 lead over the San Diego Cavers. Folks, we'll be back in just a few moments here on PlayOnSports.com with our halftime show. So stay with us. You're listening live to PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot this.
And welcome back to the PlayOn Sports. Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from the legendary Balboa Stadium in San Diego, California. T.C. Wardell alongside Eddie Alcaraz. And we have seen the 7th-ranked St. Augustine Saints roll to a 31-0 halftime lead over the San Diego Cavers. And what has been a first half pretty much dominated by this St. Augustine football team. San Diego with absolutely no answer to this St. Augustine assault here, Eddie.
They've got all the answers being St. Augustine, and it seems like the Cavers did not prepare for this test. Because right now, if we've got to give a grade just off of the score, it's going to be, I'm going to be generous and say a D-. They're not completely out of this. But at the rate that they're going, this evening will not get better if they allow St. Augustine to control the clock and the ball the way they have in the first half.
Well, San Diego has been pretty much shell-shocked by this St. Augustine football team, a team that is 4-1 on the season and ranked 7th in the San Diego section. They coming off a huge upset of Eastlake on the road last week, one game that I was surprised that they came through with, especially with the number of injuries that St. Augustine had. But it just tells you about all the depth that this team has. And they will be receiving the ball to start this second half of play, as San Diego prepares to kick it off. And Taylor with a short kick at the 22-yard line. Somebody get it on it, because that's a live ball. And finally Morgan does, and Morgan finding some room across the 40-yard line. Good return by Dominic Morgan of St. Augustine, and the Saints in outstanding field position to start the second half of play.
And I tell you what, one of the benefits of those type of kicks is, as you said, it's a live ball, and you've got the upmen there with not as sure hands as the returners. One of the negative things of that is what Dominic Morgan made the transition, was able to pick up the ball and set him up near the 40 here in great field position.
So the Saints, on their first possession of the second half, will have 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. And that's Tommy Goodrich, as you were talking about, the sophomore in at quarterback. He's going to hand it off to Juarez. Juarez going to struggle forward off the left side for maybe a yard. As Tommy Goodrich, last week, pressed into service due to injuries, 10 for 19, 4 touchdown passes against an incredibly tough Eastlake football team.
And there, which I think the Saints are going to do, is they've already gone to their second-string quarterback, but I use second string
loosely, very loosely.
Very loosely, because this kid would be starting for most schools anywhere around the San Diego County.
He's just a sophomore, folks. Sets up 3 receivers to the near side. He's going to hand this one off again, this time to Preston. Preston, the freshman, made a move at the 42, but can't avoid some other blue jerseys as he is bent backwards. As forward momentum will get him the ball at about the 43-yard line, pick up 2 yards on the play.
And it's just amazing to see the youth and the athleticism that the Saints have for years to come. If these kids, it's scary to think if they mature and gel together, what the Saints are going to be looking for the rest of the season going into next year.
Saints are fortunate where they can just kind of reload every year as opposed to rebuild. As Goodrich sends 3 receivers to the far side, 3rd and 7 from the 43-yard line. Goodrich staring down his receiver, still staring him down. Now sets under center. Rolling to his left, looking down, fires in the flats, got a man at the 45, and dragging his receiver out of bounds, and that was a little late on the gang tackle at the 48-yard line, but that's complete, and it'll make it a 3rd and about 2 for St. Augustine. Well, actually, they're going to place that ball. It's going to be a little further back than I thought. So call it 4th and a long 3 for St. Augustine at their own 47-yard line.
And one of the things that impressed me there about Goodrich is throwing against his body as he was flushed out to the left side of the field as he was being pursued, and that he put the ball right in the bread basket of the receiver there.
Easy for you to say there, Eddie. So 4th and 3, Saints says, you know what, with a 31-0 lead, we're going for it. Ball's at their own 47-yard line, and now play has been stopped by the officials, and someone looks like they're going to call an early timeout, and they do. San Diego calls a quick timeout on 4th and 3rd. With 10:25 left to go in the 3rd quarter, it is St. Augustine's 31, San Diego nothing.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. And you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games at YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
And you can reach Eddie Alcaraz on Twitter on Eddie Alcaraz. I'm not sure what the heck I just said, .com.
I tell you what, you're absolutely right, but that doesn't make a difference. They continue to pay me to do this, and I will continue to show up as if they continue to do so.
So St. Augustine, after the timeout, jogs back on the field. 4th and 3, balls at the own 47-yard line. 10:25 left to go in the third quarter, and the Saints up big. Wow, we got some heavy feedback from the speakers here. 31-0 lead. No harm, no foul, and going for it on 4th down with a 31-point lead. Goodrich, the sophomore, under center, 2 receivers near side, and once again, San Diego jumps off sides. And I tell you, Eddie, this has been kind of the score of the night. Really just lack of discipline by the San Diego front four defensively, and that's going to give St. Augustine that 5 yards they need for the first down.
And the guilty party there, number 44, Phillip Ward, defensive end. As soon as he jumped, he tried to set back up, realized it wasn't going to happen, and pounded his fist on the face of the caver near the 50-yard line.
So a free first down into Caver's territory goes St. Augustine, the 48-yard line. Goodrich, the sophomore, under center. He's going to give it to the freshman. Freshman finding some room and keeps those legs churning. Pick up maybe 2 yards on the play before the Caver secondary able to bring him down.
And there, Preston just kind of shot by 4 defenders for the Cavers as they ended up in the backfield and he ended up upfield, not for too many yards, but I tell you, the speed of this kid is amazing.
Number 60 for San Diego, Jerron Latuli, was running off the field, all 6'4", 335 pounds of him. And he's showing some nifty feet there. 2nd and 8 for St. Augustine. The ball's at the 45-yard line. Preston again on the play action. They're going to throw it out to the 40, complete. Good play action pass. Matt McGarry, the recipient of that pass by Goodrich. And that'll be close, maybe a yard shy of a first down. Good play action by Goodrich on that. He had me fooled. I thought Preston got the ball on the carry.
And I tell you, we've got to give credit there to the offensive line as well, as Austin Hyatt, the senior, 6'4", 255 pounds. And we'll kind of call him tiny here.
In comparison to most San Diego players, he is small. You're absolutely right, Eddie.
He rolled out with the quarterback, gave him the protection he needed from the blitzing linebacker.
Watch individual coverage, the top of the screen, one man on man. They got 9 in the box. I formation, 3rd and 1 from the 38. And Goodrich may be seeing it. He calls an audible. Instead, they're going to give it to Juarez. He's going to slide back the 40 to 35, and Juarez keeps the legs pumping close to the 30-yard line, and that'll be a first down for St. Augustine.
First down there, and you're right. Goodrich saw something. And at the top of the screen, that would have been a long throw up there.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been a tough throw, but boy, they had one-on-one coverage. There wasn't a safety in the zip code that would have been able to help that cornerback.
And one of the things at this level that you need out of your quarterback, and there's only a handful of them in the San Diego section that can do it, that do have that field vision. Goodrich seems to be one of these kind of guys that we're going to have to definitely keep an eye out for because he called a good play as they were able to pick up a first down.
They got 10 in the box. I'm sorry, Eddie. 10 in the box for San Diego. They're going to give it to Preston. Preston bounces off a tackle to 35, sneaks back inside across the 30, made something out of nothing. And he'll pick up about a yard on the play where it could have been a loss of about 6.
And one of the things that most running backs are able to do at this level is they got to build up a head of steam. Here, the Cavers are getting that push up front, and Juarez and anybody else who seems to be touching the ball in the backfield for Saints don't seem to need it. It's like they're just 0 to 60 right off of that first touch of the ball. Makes it even more difficult for this beefy defensive line of the Cavers to try to make a stop.
2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. This time, Goodrich looking to throw down that left sideline, looking for his man on the corner. A beautiful pass, incomplete. That ball intended for Tim Chapman. He's had a great night this evening receiving. That time, Goodrich looked like they made a nice pass, but Chapman just not able to haul that one in. That'll go incomplete, bringing up 3rd down and 10.
And getting back to the field vision that he has, he's come to the near side on a run play. He's gone to the far side on a pass play. they've run a draw up the middle that is gained yards. You got to like that they're not necessarily going into, just let's go ahead and run out the clock. They're still playing this game with a variety of calls on offense.
3rd and 10. 2 receivers near side. Flags on the field again. It looks like Saints may be caught for illegal procedure on this one. And it's a false start against St. Augustine. And that'll make it 3rd and 15 with 7:39 left to go in the third quarter. And St. Augustine in control, 31-0.
And we haven't said too many negatives for the Saints here so far this evening. So I guess it was bound to happen based on the percentages. It wasn't going to be a perfect ball game, although the score is 31-zip. They're just caught trying to do something that you're not allowed to do.
I think there might be a little bit of a hangover from last week's huge upset victory over Eastlake, too. As Goodrich sets under center, 3rd and 15. 2 receivers near side, back to throw. It's a screen to the middle. He's got his man at the 35, following his blocking. Across the 30-25, close to the 20-yard line, and that's Patrick Dixon again on his second reception of the night on the recipient of the screen pass. 14 on the play. It's going to bring up 4th and about a 1-yard pickup for another first down. So Saints, find themselves in trouble, but always seems to find a way out of it.
And that play just kind of illustrates the benefit, and it's not necessarily a benefit because it means your first string has to be out for a period of time, but that there's continuity with the second string there, because that was just beautifully orchestrated right there. That screen was set up perfect.
2 tight end set right up the gut on the quarterback keeper goes Goodrich, and Goodrich should have enough for a first down with that push off the offensive line.
He got about 3 feet more than what was intended as the side judge is running up the 20. And here as they're eating up the clock as we're closing in just under 7 minutes. If you're the Cavers at this point, if you do allow the Saints to score, does it become a thing of, just kind of a real game tutorial? Let's get some guys some work. Let's get some things in, because like you said, they have suffered their share of injuries.
So 1st and 10 for St. Augustine at the own 20, at the 20-yard line of the Cavers. New running back in the game, working off the left side, gets some good yardage with a good push to the line, gets to the second wave. That's running back Francois Sims III, your favorite guy, Eddie.
Francois.
Sims with his first carry of the night off the left-hand side, gets some good yardage, give it 9 yards before he's finally brought down. Ball set at the 11-yard line of the Cavers. 6:08 and counting here in the third quarter. St. Augustine in control, 31-0. And sophomore quarterback Tommy Goodrich now in the game. Second half is his for St. Augustine. Motion across the formation. They're going to give it again to Sims. Sims trying to work off that left side. This time blue shirts weren't fooled and slam him for a 2-yard loss.
And there, Mr. Sims not able to duplicate the yardage he picked up on the previous play. And once again, from Goodrich to Sims, the level of depth that you had talked about. And even though some of these kids, freshmen, sophomore, they play as upperclassmen. They just seem to have that, that I've been here before, I've done this. And they're doing a great job here for the Saints offense so far, Mr. Goodrich and Mr. Sims.
4-1 are the St. Augustine Saints so far this season, looking to go 5-1. Play action rolling to his right is Goodrich. Goodrich looking for his big tight ends. Got him inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. Looks like Dixon again, his third reception of the night. Big 6'3", 200-pound tight end.
Well, he had to climb the ladder a little bit there to make that catch, but he did come down with the ball.
And that'll make it 1st and goal for St. Augustine. Ball is resting at the 7-yard line of the Cavers as Goodrich sends 2 receivers to the far side, the wide side of the field. They go heavy with a wing and tight end to the right. Under 5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Goodrich is going to hand this one off to Sims. Sims sees a huge hole. Closed quickly, however, at the 4-yard line. Good open field tackle by Ahmad Williams of San Diego.
There, the senior linebacker just came up. He knew what his assignment was. He stayed with him. And as you mentioned, that hole that was there, we had pretty much one-on-one cover. There were 3 guys there. And Williams said, no, I'm not looking to dance. I'm going to go ahead and end this as he drops. Sims not necessarily for a loss, but short of the intended target, which is the end zone.
So 2nd and goal from near the 5-yard line. Goodrich, the sophomore, under center. Sends 2 to the wide side of the field. Movement on the defensive line again. And Goodrich is doing a good job of hard counting and getting the San Diego Caver linemen to jump inside the neutral zone. They've done this multiple times this evening.
And the reason there's just that anxiousness is, I mean, you want to get that edge. Even if it's just a split second, you want to beat the guy you're intended to beat, which is the front 5, the offensive line for Saints.
All these guys are 300-pounders on the front line for San Diego. There are no breaks once they get going across the line. So that gives them an extra 2 yards. 2nd and goal from the 2. Goodrich, single receiver either side, 2 tight end set. Sims get the call. He's looking to dance his way into the end zone. He does. Touchdown, St. Augustine. And they are on full throttle, 37-0.
Well, there, just a simple toss to the running back, the sophomore Sims, to the near side. He's able to tumble his way into the end zone. And here now, a 6-score ball game. And you got to think at this point, with 4:10 to go in the 3rd quarter, that they've brought in pretty much all of the reserves, as many as you can bring in anyway.
Sinclair's kick is up and perfect. And St. Augustine proving to everyone it is not a rebuilding year, it is a reloading year for the Saints, with a 38-0 lead over San Diego with 4:10 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Today's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit them online at cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. You can also check them out on the St. Augustine team page, which is located on PlayOnSports.com, and click on the CPC icon. Online printing buying has never been this easy.
Well, it's Eddie Alcaraz time here from Balboa Stadium. He is the 38-38 guy, as his coaches used to refer to him back in high school. If you're up by 38 points, you can put him in. If you're down by 38 points, you can put him in safely and not worry about winning or losing the game.
And I tell you what, I never disappointed. I had at least 3 or 4 penalty calls, probably faster in a short period of time.
So I have 5 fouls to give, and you use them all within a minute.
Oh, I was definitely that 12th guy off the bench.
On an 8-man team.
But I tell you what, my jersey is pristine, my friend. It's still no
hanging in the closet, huh?
Whatsoever.
Still hanging in the closet, or got that one enshrined in your Hall of Fame? As Sinclair for St. Augustine belts this one into the end zone. And the Cavers, who have not had decent field position to start at any time this evening, will once again start at their own 20 with 4:10 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
I'll tell you what, there's no shame in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 9th place medals. They give them out. Shiny.
I like that, shiny.
Nice and shiny. Having the carpenters come by tomorrow to go ahead and get that shrine up.
You have a good perspective toward your athletic endeavors in the past.
And it tends to lend over. Certificate of participation.
There you go.
That carries over outside of my sporting career.
Just as good as an Olympic gold medal. 1st and 10 for the Cavers. Looking to throw is Brock. Brock was just dropped to the ground before he can get that ball off. And he threw a funky throw to his receiver on a screen pass. Falls well short of completion. Brock under heavy duress. And that'll be 2nd and 10 for San Diego.
And that was the junior defensive lineman, number 89, Nicholas Allard. It's hard to throw a pass when your body's headed toward the ground and you're trying to get some momentum out there, but that was just a wounded duck that he threw out.
They go back to the ground game again. They're going to give it to Partita. Partita for the room to 25 to the 30 and to the 35-yard line when all else fails. Give it to Emmanuel Partita for San Diego. He's had an outstanding evening. One of the only highlights that the Cavers have had or can brag about tonight.
And just where you could say, well, why haven't they stayed with it? It's hard to stay with a run game when you're down 38 points and you're trying to get back in this, but as you alluded to earlier, there's really not much of a passing attack for the Cavers, so you've got to stay with that one dimension, and there's only so many different facets you can kind of present to the Saints defense.
San Diego averaging only 71 yards in the air per game as Partita on a spin move at the line of scrimmage plows forward across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Yeah, exactly that. Partita may be your go-to guy from this point on, as the air game for San Diego is virtually non-existent.
You know, and that's not to say that I'm sure they haven't practiced, not necessarily a long passing game. If you don't have the personnel for it, there's no use in wasting valuable practice time and working on that. But that's not to say you can't throw in a few wrinkles. You know, you're down by 38. Why not try it out here and see if something sticks, if something does have success? And if it is, it's against a really good Saints defense.
2nd and 3 from the 43-yard line. They're going to go back to the ground of Partita. Partita caught in the backfield, gets away from one man, but can't get away from another as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage for no gain. 2:55 left to go in the third quarter. I think we were probably under a continuous clock right now as Saints hold a 38-0 lead.
And if you are the Saints, I think on offense, you may not see a pass with the score being what it is the rest of this ball game.
They'll keep it to the ground and they'll play as many reserves as they possibly can. On 3rd and 3 from their own 43-yard line, San Diego needs to get a first down here, keep this drive alive. So they run that screen pass to Stewart. Stewart at midfield with a catch. And a dangerous pass. Stewart showing a lot of courage right in the seam, and a first down. Best pass I've seen Brock throw tonight, and that moves the chains into St. Augustine territory.
And that's the kind of pass you like to see. He stepped into it, had the receiver, got on the perfect angle, where it was just the receiver that if he wasn't going to catch that definitely was going to fall as an incomplete. So we got a caver here down.
And this is the last thing San Diego needs after losing 3 players last week, another one today, and this one looks like it. Not sure who it is. We'll get the number in just a moment. Caver's really thin tonight with a number of injured players after last week's game against Grossmont. Some very key and dangerous injuries last week.
And for the Cavers, it's been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde season as they started off with a 7-0 shutout of the Kearney Comets, then going on up to the North County and not having much success up there as they were thumped by El Camino 36-12, and then the very next week up at Carlsbad 40-6, but then responded back with a victory at 25-13 at Granite Hills, and then a 24-7 victory at Castle Park. So, like I said, it's been kind of a roller coaster ride, and a lot of that you can attribute to the fact that they're having to bring up kids from the JV to assume reserve spots.
Yeah, and it's been that way this season, and now another injury to a starter for San Diego. And I'll tell you, not easy for the Cavers. I'm not sure who the schedule maker is for this team, but they had 4 consecutive road trips before last week. So they haven't spent a whole lot of time at home as they bring the EMT staff out onto the field. This is something that happened last week. They had 2 very serious injuries to players against Grossmont last Friday night that delayed game for nearly an hour. And this one here does not look good for the young man for San Diego.
Well, just some of the injuries that happened last week. Defensive end Liam Edwards, a broken ankle, out for the year. Wide receiver Eli Gibbons, fractured hip, out for the season. And running back Nino Mills has a hamstring strain, and he was out for tonight's ball game. And as you said, when you're thin, when it rains, it pours, pretty much. And that's kind of been the theme for the Cavers here.
It'll be interesting to see what the commissioner says, or the office of the commissioner states, with a 38-0 lead and 2:17 left to go in the third quarter. And what appears to be somewhat serious injury to a San Diego player, if they would call this game or not. I don't know the rule regarding that, if a game must be completed. But that's probably something the coaches will have to discuss. So we are going to take a timeout on the field with this injury. 2:17 left to go in the third quarter. And St. Augustine with a 38-0 lead over the San Diego Cavers here from Balboa Stadium on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
And we're back here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. We are just ending an injury timeout on the field here from Balboa Stadium as a San Diego Caver wide receiver, Juan Stewart, who just made that outstanding catch and run, was down for an extended period of time. The good news, he is up and on his feet and walking off on his own power. So everybody a little bit relieved there, and looks like Mr. Stewart is going to be okay. So great news there for San Diego as they now have 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line of the Saints. Partita working off that right side, finds nowhere to go. Nothing but white jerseys in his face, and he may lose a half yard on the play.
And I'm going to go ahead and jinx it and say we haven't seen many turnovers.
No, that's
here
kiss of death, Eddie. Congratulations.
I tell you, I couldn't help myself there. Few interceptions and few fumbles. But I'm sure I just opened up the floodgates on that one.
Nice going in. We'll see in the next couple of plays if you just whammied this or not. Poor San Diego has to deal with Eddie Alcarez and the curse. 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line of St. Augustine. 1:29 left to go in the third quarter. As Brock trying to find something happen, throws that slant again to the right side, left side. This time incomplete, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Curtis Wilkins. Another good throw by Brock, though. That hit him right in the numbers, and that's something that Wilkins should have brought in.
If it hits you in the mitts, you got to be able to make that catch.
Sophomore receiver unable to bring that in. I'll bring in 3rd down and 10. Ball's at the 46-yard line of Saints, and as the St. Augustine holds a 38-0 lead with 1:22 left to go in this third quarter. And Brock is going to send 2 receivers to the near side and reset Trevon Taylor back to the left. Now it's spread across the board. 5 receivers in the pattern. Brock under pressure, rolling to his left, still looking downfield, and drilled at midfield, and the ball came loose. Eddie, you almost messed it up for the poor San Diego team with your whammy. Brock loses the ball down, but the officials will call him down at midfield, and so it'll be logged in as a sack, and 4th and 15 for San Diego, and the busiest man here tonight is the punter for the Cavers. He walks back onto the field to kick it away.
And there, just with great speed, closing speed, I should say, on the quarterback was number 36, Patrick Lavelle, one of the captains of this ball club for the Saints. The linebacker was able to get back there, prevent the quarterback from making any kind of throw. And he did have somebody open downfield that he could have gotten, but his body kind of twisted him the other way as we got another knuckler.
Oh, Trevon Taylor, that was an ugly one, but does the right thing as Preston picks it up at the 10-yard line, working down the right sideline. And a nice return across the 25 to the 26-yard line. I tell you, punter for San Diego, Trevon Taylor's had a rough evening. Just getting the snap first of all, then trying to get the ball off. And now I see a flag on the field assessed against the Saints.
So he has managed to get off to get the kicks off, but they've been nothing pretty as he's had, the Saints defenders in his face as he's been trying to get these punts off. Luckily, he has been able to get them off.
St. Augustine penalty will bring the ball back to the 16-yard line, where they will have it 1st and 10. 23 seconds left to go in this third quarter, and the Saints up big, 38-0 over San Diego. Watch that sole receiver at the top of the screen. Rather, they're going to go 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Tight end right. That's Elijah Preston, the freshman, who gets the flip toss to the left, looking for some room, and's got it. Gets some good blocking from his receivers. Cuts through a seam across the 30-yard line and to the 33. Credit his 3 receivers on that side from shielding San Diego defenders away, giving Preston a huge aisle to run down. And a 1st down for St. Augustine as they continue to work on the clock.
And one of the things that I had mentioned is they were going to pretty much give a heavy dose of running plays. The Saints for the rest of this ball game up by 38, but there the Cavers bit on the receivers up top, opening up the lanes for Preston, and he took full advantage of it, picking up a 1st down here.
And with the whistle, that should end quarter number 3 as we go to the 4th. It's St. Augustine all over San Diego High, 38-0 on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
TC Wardell and Eddie Alcaraz from San Diego, California. Legendary Balboa Stadium, the former home of the San Diego Chargers, playing host tonight to St. Augustine and the San Diego Cavers, whereas we prepare for quarter number 4. And this one all but in the books is St. Augustine with a 38-0 lead over the Cavers. And I think right now, Eddie, what San Diego needs to do is find something, some spark, some bit of momentum to find a way into the end zone and get at least a score and avoid being blanked by this St. Augustine football team.
You never want the goose egg on the scoreboard at the end of the game, and you being in possession of that. And you're right, they need to find something positive and pick up some kind of score here before this ball game's over.
Tommy Goodrich, the sophomore, under center for St. Augustine. He's going to hand this one off to Preston. Preston with a nice move at the 35-yard line. Brought down by 2 Caver defenders at the 39. Boy, he is an impressive sophomore. I can't believe he was sitting on the bench behind Tyler Herberger, who is now injured, maybe out for the season. All of a sudden, Herberger, your top rusher, is out. What do? You just reload it back in with Preston, the freshman.
Most teams would fret, and it would affect pretty much everything they do on offense, but not here for the Saints. As prior to the injury, they were 3 deep.
Parts are replaceable at St. Augustine. 2 receivers far side on 2nd and 3. Preston on the play action. Goodrich is going to roll to his right. He's got his man on the flat. Pick up at the 45-yard line, and the big tight end breaks some more tackles across the 40, across midfield to the 46. Rather, give him the 45. That's the 4th catch for Patrick Dixon, the big tight end, as it took an entire defensive effort by San Diego just to bring him down.
6'3", 200 pounds.
He runs like about 250.
And the ball he showed it there. He definitely did.
Big, strong tight ends. Had a great night this evening. Brings the ball into Caver territory at the 44-yard line, where it'll be 1st and down for St. Augustine. 10:46 left to go in this final quarter, as the Saints looking to go 5-1, holding a 38-0 lead. As the sophomore hands off to the freshman, and the freshman around the right end picks up 7 quick yards. Elijah Preston has been extremely impressive this evening for St. Augustine. Sorry to see that he's going to have defensive coordinators around the league. Are going to hate to think that he's got 3 more years after this to run up and down their defenses.
And I tell you, one of the other benefits that this log jam that's kind of been opened up and allowing Preston and Goodrich to, is you're also going to, it helps your defense in preparing against other teams for that week and facing top quality talent like this, even in your own practices.
Uncovered receiver for St. Augustine on the near side. 2 receivers there, but they're going to give the ball off to Preston again, off the right. Preston gets to the edge. Preston on the run to the 20, 15, 10. Preston, touchdown, St. Augustine. Holy cow.
I tell you what, that was not fair. That was not fair for anybody involved on that field, because Preston took the handoff on the far side and turned it into a track meet, which he won with little resistance pretty much from anybody else. As pending an extra point, his team is going to be up 45-0 here in the 4th quarter.
Well, this Saints team is very well balanced, averaging about 143 yards in the air, 178 yards on the ground, and 29 points per game. Well, that average is going to go up. And again, here we go, movement all over the defensive line. And, you know, at this point, it's just discipline. They're just not focused. And, you know, and they've been struggling all night long with that. But I think I'm going to be wrong on this call, as it appears that San Diego may have been drawn offsides. And they'll march the ball back 5 yards, so Sinclair will be kicking it from his 14 instead. Snap is good, hold is down. Sinclair's kick is perfect. And it is a 45-0 advantage for St. Augustine over San Diego with 8:24 left to go in this 4th quarter.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
I'll tell you, St. Augustine, they travel extremely well. Their side of the stands is completely filled, and it's standing room only on the visitor side. as they've got a whole lot to cheer about as their Saints hold a 45-0 lead over San Diego, and what we have now a continuous clock as it continues to tick down at 7:45 and counting. San Diego just no answers on offense tonight. The number of injured players, and really the wind kind of was taken out of their sails at halftime, and they just haven't shown a whole lot of life in the second half of play.
And at this point, you've got to take some positive from this, and I think that positive would be sustaining a long drive on offense and showing this Saints defense that you are capable of moving the ball, keeping the ball, and putting it into the end zone.
San Diego is not shy of offensive firepower. However, with some key injuries, they've been rather limited recently, as Sinclair's kick is high and short, and it's going to bounce at the 13-yard line, and the officials are going to throw the flag as we may have an offsides on the kicking team. And that'll give Sinclair an extra 5 yards to work out that right leg.
That's another thing that Saints always seems to have is a kid with a boot.
McMorrow, Seamus McMorrow, currently at San Diego State as a freshman, doing have kickoff duty for the Aztecs.
And in my opinion, the Aztecs got a good one.
Oh, no question about it.
They've
I don't even think they're utilizing him as much as they can be. And only a freshman, and they've got 3 kickers on the roster, so he'll get his time and his turn. But they're already kicking off for our San Diego State Aztecs. And it seems like they always have a strong, like you said, Eddie, always have a strong kicking game at St. Augustine year after year. So Sinclair gets to try it again, put a little more leg into this one. He hits this one all the way to the 5 as Partita tries to find a hole, and he has dropped at the 22. He took a shot and went down immediately at the 22-yard line. So the San Diego Caver offense jogging back on the field. Continuous clock moving at 5:48, trailing 45-0 to St. Augustine. Looking for one more opportunity to try to move this football and possibly put something on the board before it's all said and done here tonight.
And that was number 81, Ethan Sanchez, a linebacker on the kicking team that just administered that hit.
So he'll get a sticker on his helmet for this week.
He definitely will.
1st and 10, spread formation. They're going to give it to Partita up the middle, dancing around up to the 30-yard line. A nice piece of running, finding something out of nothing. And a pickup of 7 on the play by Emmanuel Partita for San Diego as the clock continues to run. Just over 5 minutes to play.
And Mr. Partita is not necessarily a big bruising back at 5'8", 155, but he runs like one. The kid just up the middle, doesn't shy away from getting hit, as he picks up a good chunk of yardage there on 1st down for the Cavers.
We didn't see a lot of him in the first quarter, not a whole lot in the second. But he's been getting a lot of work here in the second half. As Partita gets the call again and shoots up the middle, almost got away. Shoestring tackle drops him near the 40-yard line, or he'd still be running right now. And now the Cavers on the move. Going with a fast offense. 4:30 left to go in this ball game. San Diego trailing 45-0, but hoping to get something on the board before the final gun.
And I think here, if you are the Cavers, you open up that playbook. You dust off the plays that you don't use much just to see if you can sneak something past this Saints defense.
Traditional I formation. Partita just keeps driving and driving and driving near the 45-yard line. Just when you think he's down, he's still putting yards on, and Partita with his head to the ground coming up a little bit slow.
And I think that was more of the equivalent of just kind of a crowd wave you would see at a rock concert, as they kind of just moved him forward and helped him come close to picking up a 1st down. He's just a few yards short there.
6 on the carry for Partita. It's been pretty much all Emmanuel on this particular drive, probably the final drive of this ball game. New quarterback under center, and once again we've got movement on the offensive line. And I apologize, that is still Brock under center at quarterback. And that's a 5-yard penalty. And boy, I tell you, if I was a defense and offensive line coach for San Diego High this week in practice, oh, am I working my guys. I'm going to be running drills all night long, getting them to focus on the snap counts. So that'll bring it back to the 38-yard line. 2nd and 9 for San Diego. 2 receivers far side. Tough handle this time, but Partita finds some room up the middle and fights his way across the 45-yard line, and still on his feet. He refuses to go down as Brock nearly lost the snap. barely able to get the ball to Partita, and Partita did all the rest and gets back to where the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 3rd and a short 2.
And there, to me, it appeared that the Cavers got away.
Yeah,
with,
they did.
With movement on the line there.
Right. I think the officials just tired of calling it and said, look, 2:36 left to go in the ball game, down 45-0. Let's give these guys an opportunity to move the ball downfield. One last time as they go with 2 receivers either side. Still moving on the line again, and this time off the right-hand side. And ball carrier was Trevon Taylor, and Taylor will pick up enough for the first down at the 49-yard line.
And looking ahead for the Cavers, they're going to have another home game here against Morris High School.
It doesn't get easier with Sarah on the travel, and boy, they got to take on Patrick Henry at home, and Patrick Henry right now is the surprise team of the section, undefeated.
And I tell you, I live not far from Patrick Henry, and just driving by, the crowd, the stands were packed. You hadn't seen that those last few years.
There goes Taylor finding room off the left side into Saints territory to the 43-yard line. And once again, we're seeing a lot of new faces and numbers on this St. Augustine defense, so they're playing a lot of reserves right now. As they go to the quick offense for San Diego, 2nd down and 2. It was an 8-yard pickup by Taylor. And again, Taylor gets the call, finds some room up the middle as they keep exploiting the middle of that Saints defense. And across the 40-yard line, and that'll be enough for another San Diego first down, but we are starting to run out of clock. 1:13 and counting on this continuous clock. San Diego really doesn't have time to go into a huddle, but they do so anyway as they head back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think a running play is going to help at this point. They're going to have to need to put the ball in the air if they think they're going to get anywhere near field goal range. 2 receivers far side. Back to throw goes Brock. Brock going to throw it deep down the left side, looking for his man. Complete at the 5-10 and out of bounds at the 3-yard line, just like that. They follow my advice. They got to put the ball in the air. And Brock throws a beautiful throw down the left sideline to Juan Stewart. No, pardon me, that's Wilkins, Curtis Wilkins on the catch. And now San Diego crowd coming a little bit alive here. 27 seconds left to go, and I think they're going to need a timeout, and they're going to take one to stop this clock. With 22 seconds left to go in this ball game, San Diego knocking on the door at the 5-yard line, trailing St. Augustine 45-0.
And I tell you, TC, those how-to coach offenses, videos that you made, are no longer just used as coasters or to balance out the couch. There, somebody cracked it open, played it.
That's going to be a big seller this season, I can tell you already. Coaches all over the country are going to be listening to me and what they should be doing. No, seriously, Travis Brock with an outstanding throw to the outside shoulder of Wilkins down near the 5-yard line. Kind of a pass and catch you wish you'd seen them doing a little bit earlier in the game.
And mind you, it is against most of the reserves here, but it wouldn't have hurt them to at least, like you said, give it a couple of, cracks during the game. But they're a beautiful pass and catch. That's not an easy pass to throw. And Brock executed it with perfection.
Under center, they're going to give it to Partita. And it hit in the backfield immediately, loss of about a yard. And the clock wasn't running at the time, and now they've got another timeout on the field, and they're going to need to reset the clock. It shows 22 seconds. Timeout on the field by San Diego, but the clock did not move. As San Diego's going to have to come up with something a little nasty here on 2nd and goal from the 7.
And they're looking, they're hungry now. It took them to the 4th quarter with 22 seconds left to finally give into that hunger. But yeah, definitely. I don't think they're going to be able to just hand it off to Partita up the middle, as enticing as it sounds. I think the Saints defense is going to be ready for that.
Let's see if they use the wide side of the field. Ball's placed at the left hash mark. Saints are moving their players around. 2nd and goal from the 7. 20 seconds left to go and counting. Clock moving. Brock under center. Brock going to roll to his right. Nowhere to go. He's in trouble. White shirts all around him, and he is swarmed, and he just drops to his knees down at the 13-yard line. As the clock continues to run under 10 seconds, there won't be time for them to get another playoff the way they're running now. And Brock, 1 play left, going to throw this one into the end zone, looking for a man, and intercepted in the end zone by St. Augustine. And the Saints kill a last chance scoring threat by San Diego. And St. Augustine shuts out San Diego Cavers 45-0 here from Balboa Stadium.
And there, number 81, Ethan Sanchez, the linebacker, preventing the Cavers from changing that goose egg on the scoreboard.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned to PlayOnSports.com for our post-game coverage. We'll wrap up all the action on our post-game show, and we'll try and have an interview with one of our player of the game. And that's coming up in just a few minutes. Once again, St. Augustine goes to 5-1 on the season by blanking the San Diego Cavers 45-0 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.